have to be honest, I'm a little scared today. Why? Well, A, we're looking at a brand I've never tried before and only recently heard of. But B, we're looking at color, and an insane amount of color. An amount of color that even I am not that comfortable with. I've worn white today so that we can really show it off, because there is color coming your way. If you are interested in looking at products from AORA, Mexico, which is a sustainable brand designed in Mexico, eyeshadows made in Italy, as Alicia Archer would say, as well as some lip products, some eyeliner, as well as the new YSL powder blushes in the 3 new colors, then I'd really appreciate it today if you would like, subscribe, follow along, shop my links, all that goodness, and let's get at it. So AORA Mexico is a brand that I just recently became aware of. And to be in full transparency, they sent me some products in PR, and then I purchased an additional product just to try it. And so I'm not one who, even if I get something in PR, that I'm going to say it's great if it's not. So today I'm going to give you an honest review. Ooh, someone's be dinging. I'm going to give you an honest review of the products, and then we're also going to look at those YSL products. So the first product I have from AORA Mexico, and the first thing I noticed when this came in is the gorgeous packaging. I cannot even imagine what this costs to produce. The palette is $65, and this palette is called Marame, M-I-R-A-M-E. I do not speak Spanish, although I love Bad Bunny. And the palette says, "You are holding in your hands the beginning of a colorful story and the end of a gray era. Before and after Mexico, we created an object designed to last over time. Now your eyes will not be able to give up color." And I thought, well, that's pretty ballsy. You can purchase it at AORA, AORA makeup.com. It looks like it is designed in Mexico, but the shadows themselves are made in Italy. And when I say the packaging, it's incredibly heavy and beautiful with this sort of embossing. And then when you get to the box itself, it's got a beautiful kind of gold leaf down here, but it's got a little notch and really stunning packaging for a smaller indie type brand. This is die cut. This is very nice. And then this is the palette. Again, the palette is called Marame. And let me see, there's a little sheet on the bottom here. Let me see if this says anything. Marame is a plastic-free, timeless object designed to fight waste in the makeup industry. After you explore its colors, you can remove its insert and reuse it as an accessory or a pyramid to store your hidden treasures. Also remove the cardboard insert and you can use this box as a chest for your valuables. Both can be fully recycled so that they can take on to their next new form. So that's really the heavy part of this company. A, they're looking at Mexican heritage, but B, they're looking at sustainable makeup. And so this is the packaging, and let me see if it says on here a shelf life. 18 months, so that's pretty standard. And I thought, well, the packaging is really beautiful. It is heavy, well made. When I opened it, I was a little shocked, and this is why I say I'm a little afraid today, because I don't normally play with this much color. And when I'm talking about color, I'm really talking about primary color. I don't typically deal with this much primary color. Everything in here is a bold primary. So there's no transition colors. We're just going full in on the color today. So I think what we'll do is try to create 2 looks. And I guess the quickest and easiest way to look at these would be to color block them. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch these, some of these on my hand for you so you can see. Beautiful, bold color. No doubt about that. And They swatch really nicely. The metallics are quite smooth. Everything is kind of hard in pan, so I don't think you would get a ton of fallout with this brand. Let me grab the next 4. See that gold up on the top, and then down on the bottom it's kind of just a white kind of topper, great for inner corner. And then the last shade in this palette is a fuchsia. I'll put that up at the top. So this is the palette, really bold. It reminds me a lot of, I think it was Sephora collection. I can't remember who it was, but my best friend had this palette that was with Massimo, and it looked like a keyboard from a computer, and it was all bold, bright colors, and he really loved that. I always was scared of it because it was a little too bold for me, but that's what this kind of reminds me of, because it is really bold color. And I also grabbed one of their liners, so we're going to try that out today, and then I also have some of their lip products. So let's bring you in a little closer, and I guess I'll just call the colors what they are, because there is no variation. There's no nuance, if you will, or duochrome or multichrome. It's just primary, bold, beautiful color. So let me pull you in a little closer. Here we go. And let's take a look, shall we? So on this first eye, let's go in with this kind of orange. And I just got a little concealer on my eyes. If you really wanted these to be bold, you could use like a Danessa Myricks, like that Color Fix, but use like the white one. And this would be really crazy. But look at that amount of pigment, like right off the bat. That's crazy. Yeah, you're not gonna get a subtle look with this. It really, I think, is a color blocking kind of look. And then I'm gonna go in with that hot pink color on the same brush. It's a 14 from Refer, and place that on the lid. These are really pigmented and really beautiful, and no real fallout. I didn't think there would be, because they're quite hard pressed in the pan. They feel a little different than a traditional shadow, but super pigmented. Clean off my brush a little and grab a little bit more of that orange, just to carry it out. Yeah, this is not a look that I traditionally would do, but the quality is really nice. That's what really struck me about this, was the packaging right away, because I thought the quality was really nice, especially for, you know, a $65 palette. It's got 10 shades in it. This, I'm sure, has some sort of meaning, but it drives me crazy. You know, I tend to like either squares or circles, but it's beautiful. And of course, I'll include it down below if you'd like to shop any of their products. Now, some of their online models showed mixing a different color down below. This scares me a little bit, but let's go ahead and try it. I'm going to grab a smaller brush. This is the 14 mini. Makes sense. And I'm going to grab this bold blue. That is bold. I think if you use a soft hand, you could get a little bit, but like I said, you're not going to get a ton of nuance here. They're really bold primary colors, and that's their goal from that mission statement that's on the back of the box. That's intense, but it looks nice. Okay, so I'm going to grab the kind of, let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to grab this kind of gold shade and put that on the inner corner. No fallout. Interesting. This performs nicely. So that is a bold look, a party look, if you will. Great for Pride, Cinco de Mayo, whatever else you want to do it for, but I think it looks really great. Let's go ahead and switch over to the other eye and do something in a different color family. So on this one, I guess what I'll do, there's not like a light transition color. That's kind of where this one stumps me a little bit. But it's okay. I think what I'm going to do is grab this purple. And some of these are more matte, and then some of them are more satin, and then there are the 3 metallics. This purple actually looks a little bolder in the pan than it does on the eye, which is nice. This one is more of a satin. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the green, and this is a Shoto 3. This is also a satin. I mean, I am looking, I'm just not seeing any fallout, really. I mean, I do think the way that you have to use a palette like this is like this. It's got to be kind of color blocked. Now, one thing we could do maybe is put a little of that silver on the center, and we can take a look at that in a second. But let me go ahead and grab this kind of white icy color. It's a white kind of toppery color, and put that over here. It's pretty. It's a bright color. So much pigment. Really interesting. And then I'm trying to use as many colors as possible on this just to show you what it offers. What colors? Well, we haven't used the black and we haven't used the silver. I think what I'll do is grab a little of the silver just to run on the bottom here. Whoa, that is really pigmented and easy to use, as was the gold. I think this one might be even more. So you got to be careful and use a smaller brush than what I just did, because that goes on really intense. But what I can do is just take a little of the silver on my finger and just place it in the center and create a little of that nuance. You know, I hope that they do a second palette. They do include like a couple of mattes and maybe like a duochrome or something, but it's really beautiful. The only one I didn't use is the black, so what I'm going to do is just grab a little bit of it on here, just to deepen up along the lash line here. Let's see if this... That one I'm having a little bit of trouble getting to stick. Ah, there it goes. The blacks are always hard in that regard, but it certainly works. So what do you think? Not my traditional colors, but really beautiful. Okay, so I grabbed one liner from them, and it's probably not going to go with the look, but this is the Rojo liner, and it is the Admirame, A-D-M-I-R-A-M-E, Intensify Eye Pencil. And it doesn't look like this has any kind of saying on it like the other one did. But beautiful packaging nonetheless. This very ornate kind of die cut packaging. And so let's grab this. This probably would not be the best color for both looks, but we'll make it work. It's a dark burgundy color. So let's try this over here. that's nice. I mean, it's got a lot of color pigment. It's a hard pencil. It's a wood pencil, which I like. And a lot of color payoff. I mean, if you're afraid of color, then obviously this is not going to be your wildest dream. But I think it looks really nice. I'm going to grab my Kulfi mascara. And this is in black. And this is a tubing mascara. I'm just going to put a coat of that on. I didn't even curl these. I just want to see how they look. Okay. I mean, those are bold. Beautiful performance, though. And I'm a big fan of all the sustainability they're showing here. Okay, let's pull you out and look at some lip products from the brand. Okay, so I grabbed a couple of lip products from them. I grabbed two of their Acromom, ACARICIAME, and these are their solid lip serum balms. And I have two colors here. I have color number 2, Dorado, and then color number 3, Roja. And then I also grabbed their solid lip serum in Vino. Now, the one, Vino and Dorado, are just basic lip serums, but the Roja one is their sort of, from what I can understand, their signature plumping one. And I will tell you, I did try this yesterday, and it does burn rather intensely. So if you're not a fan of that kind of product, you might want to be careful. But let's take a look at these. Okay, so the first one I have here is the Roja 003, and it is a bright red, and even on my hand it tingles a little bit. It doesn't red at first, but it does intensify as you go. Then I have Dorado. Again, beautiful packaging here. Heavy, luxurious packaging. So this is Dorado, and this is a gold balm. You can see it there. Interesting. And then the last one is Vino, and this is kind of like a vermilion. There's a little bit of a vermilion, burgundy, bluish kind of shift in it. It's got a little brown, a little VR, what is it, Ecstasy or whatever that color is. But see, it's got a bluish to brownish kind of shift to it. So, you know, I think today, since we're going crazy, let's try it. So I'm just going to put this on. Yeah, that's interesting. It's a metallic vermilion with blue. It really is a lip balm version of that. Color from Pat McGrath that's in Moonlit Seduction. But it feels nice. It's hydrating. I mean, would you wear it every day? Probably not. But would it work for a festival or something like that? Sure. So a lot of color going on here. And I gotta say, I'm impressed with the product line. Again, I'll include it down below because I think if you're interested in color and things that are a little outside the box, and you really don't see a lot of like Mexican or South American beauty brands, it'd be worth checking out. Now, there are 3 new YSL blushes, which I think make about 20 total they have now, but they have 3 new shades. They have Stardust Love, which is a very sparkly, iridescent kind of pink color. Could almost be a highlighter on the right shade. Then they have Fuchsia Fizz, which all three of these have a metallic. You know, their blushes come in a metallic or a matte. All three of these are more of a metallic. A bold color. And then finally, Honeymoon, which is this metallic-y kind of copper color. So really interesting additions to the line. They have so many of them now. I think they've got enough blushes for right now, but they're not asking me, so whatever. Okay, on this one over here, let's go ahead and try this Fuchsia Fizz. And I've got my Refer 5 here. Since we're going in for color, why not go in for color? I find the Gucci and Valentino easier to blend out than the YSL, but of course YSL certainly has the most colors, so it's kind of a trade-off. I'm going to go in, you saw that was one pass, with the Stardust Love, which is the pink. It could almost be a highlighter depending on your coloration. I'm just going to place that on top, and those two work really well together. That kind of diffuses it. I think that this Stardust Love color actually has a little bit more metallic than the other one, but they work really nice. I mean, the YSL blushes all work really nice. I'm just a bigger fan of the Gucci and the Valentino. I think they just are a lot easier to work with, but for color curation, YSL has beautiful colors. On this side over here, let me just grab the Honeydew, or what's it called, Honeymoon, to show you. And it's a terracotta. It's a metallic kind of terracotta, but look how much pigment that is. That's where I struggle with YSL blushes, is that some of them, there is no building up. There's so much pigment right off the bat. And so I can go back in with my foundation a little bit here. But you see, even then, there's so much pigment right off the bat, and I like something that's a little bit more buildable. But beautiful colors nonetheless, and a big fan of the new AORA, AORA brand, AORA Mexico. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but big fan of them. So if you've enjoyed today and you like looking at new products, new different products, then please consider liking, subscribing, following along, and letting other people who are into beauty know about the channel. And consider shopping my links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it greatly helps out the channel. So I call today a success. Not all new brands I try are a success, but this one I like. It's good to catch up, everyone. Bye.